Hey guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming. Today I've got a special guest with me. Hey guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming. You're here with your host Top Table Ben, and as I said in the intro, I have got a special guest with me today. I have got Kalman Steele's Wright.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. This is your first time on the channel?
It is, yeah.
Excellent. It's lovely to have you on. So, for those of you guys that don't know, Kalman, you are quite well known in the Great British Hobbit League community. You've played in several tournaments, and you do pretty well, I'd like to say.
Did do. Recently I haven't done so well,
but
yeah.
you are quite well known as being a decent player with sort of certain lists in particular.
A certain list.
So I've played against you twice. Both times in doubles.
Yeah.
So first time it was me and Steve played against you.
In this room.
In this room, yeah. So you had your kind of go-to list then, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a bit. And we had like an Army of the Dead and Gondor Alliance.
Yes, you did.
And then the last time we played was at Trafford in Flames this year.
Oh, it was, yeah.
And you had, again, a very similar sort of list. What did we have? We had a Rohan Gondor Alliance.
It was the
Eorl and the Sons of Eorl. Which,
no-named Gondorians.
Yeah, that was it. So
cool
it was a cool list, a bit of a unique one. So yeah, we played a couple of times, and safe to say that both times you've done better than me, shall we say. So, talk us through your GBHL history then. So, when did you start playing, and when did you get involved with the league?
So, played when it started, when the first film came out, was that 2001. And it was...
you don't look that old.
I was 8.
Fair enough.
Still quite young. But it was those original magazines.
Yeah.
You know, the fortnightly.
Yeah, the Battle Games of Middle Earth.
That's the one. And I always still remember going into the Wright Smith every fortnight to pick mine up. Yeah. And that's what got me into Games Workshop, because that's obviously where the models came from, etc. And I just started playing since then. And I did take a bit of a break when GW kind of took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
With
I think I'm much the same. Like I joined in with Battle Games of Middle Earth, and I remember going and buying, you know, like the goblins and the elves, like when they first came out, like the first few issues. And then when I couldn't put my finger on it, but when I kind of got to university, I kind of stepped back a little bit when you know, obviously you discover drinking and girls and stuff like that. I kind of took that little bit of a step back then as well, and like it felt like Games Workshop took their foot off the gas a little bit with some of the Middle Earth range.
Well, they did such a big thing in 2012, didn't they, with the actual Hobbit release?
Yes.
And then 2013 was a little supplement, like £20, I think the book was.
Yeah.
And then for Battle of Five Armies was literally just a White Dwarf supplement.
Yeah.
And I think that's when, because Dane has always been my favourite character since a kid.
Yeah.
When I found out there wasn't going to be a model of him, I was like, I'm out. Thanks very much.
Fair enough. So so you kind of came back to the game. When did you start playing Middle Earth again?
It was completely unintentional.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone knows Gethin Watkins. And
yes.
I've been playing against him since Chester for as long as possible, and he got into the GBHL long before me. And I think the Iron Hills were released at Ardicon 2016, weren't they?
Yeah.
And that Christmas, just randomly, my girlfriend bought me Dane.
Nice.
She just knew, and I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't actually planning on getting on this, but you know, I'll paint him up.
Yeah.
And it's like really my first Forge World model as well, and I'm like, oh god, this is a gorgeous model.
Beautiful.
So it's like, God, I have to buy everything now. And then Gethin was like, oh, I'm hosting my first tournament. It was like March 2018 or something, and this is the old edition. He's like, do you want to come along? He kind of explained what the GBHL was, stuff like that. So I ended up taking it on. I ended up winning it with like a Mordor list, you know, Fell Beast Filth back when they were good. Because it was when I first really got back into it in a few years. So I was quite lucky. I know it was only an 80 points. I ended up winning that, and that's when Gethin told me about Best Newcomer.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, oh, right, okay. So I may go for that, but I didn't go to any tournament from that till Ardcon.
Yeah.
And then obviously you meet the Scots.
Yeah.
And the Scots are like, you come in Stirling, and there's only one answer to that, because they won't let you say no.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's one that me and Steve always say this, but we're desperate to get to Stirling.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Steve could never do Stirling because some fireworks, like he's got little kids and stuff, so he's got to do like the family stuff. So change the date, guys, if you're watching.
Just a week later.
Just a week later would do, and we'll be there. But yeah,
fingers crossed they get the final.
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But so I went to that and ended up coming second. Yeah. Somehow. I think that's when the new rules had just come out. Yeah. And I have a theory about why I did so well in that with the new rules. But yeah, ended up somehow managed to win the final as well and get actually Best Newcomer, which was
out of three tournaments.
Well, so I won the doubles that was here. When we played in this room. And then I think I came 5th at Throne of Schools.
Madness.
And it just
Absolute madness.
Totted up.
So are you like a naturally talented wargamer then? Is that something that you kind of... Do you play any other games before this?
I've played 40k since as long as I can remember. I played a bit of fantasy. I wouldn't say I'll be naturally talented. Like, God, I was probably horrific when I first started. I'm very much a slow learner.
Right.
Practice makes perfect, and I think 20 years of playing it adds up. Also, Dale and Joe Wilcock in Chester, they always keep you on your toes. So you're playing against some people, and it's good practice. And I think I've always been set in my ways of I'll take the same thing. Even in the old edition when they were bad, I was taking siege engines. But then the rules changed and the ballista just kind of became...
So you were already quite used to using the siege ballista. Yeah. And then when it got better, it was like a bit of a bonus for you.
It really was. Sense? Just the whole deployment within 6, it was game changing. And then the main aspect of it doesn't matter what else it does in the game. But if you just take dwarfs that just move 5 inches and then you go against Rivendell Knights, you've lost that game because they'll only ever come to you on their terms. But when you're on a board where your opponent's got the drop on you, you're always on the back foot and it can be quite a slog. But then the ballista just changes that dynamic. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I know when I've played against it, it's a bit of a... Because actually it's only hitting on 4+, isn't it? Yeah. So actually it's only hitting half the time, but there is that massive psychological thing that if that hits... it's going to do some really serious damage. So yeah, absolutely. And I know when I've played against you, it's a case of trying to get to you as quickly as possible because I want to be close to you so that you then don't hit me. Do you know what I mean? I want to be in combat so that you can't shoot at me.
But that was when it first came out. That was the thing that a lot of people were saying of how to play against it. So it's either you run at me, but you run in drips and drabs, and then you hit a shield wall of Iron Hills and you bounce off because you're not together. The second thing is you put a lot of resource into the ballista, which is still really good for me because I've got cheap tanky heroes that will take out, if you concentrate on the ballista,
smaller pockets,
then I'll concentrate on that. So that was a win-win for me as well. But then in the old edition, it didn't have a minimum range either, so I would just shoot into combat anyway. Because dwarves can take the hit, but most things can't.
That's true. Wow.
So that was that, and I think because it was brand new, and people didn't know myself. People didn't really know how to play siege engines because no one ever took them previously.
Absolutely.
I think that's why I did so well because I really took a lot of people off guard, and including good or prominent players. They were just like, I've never seen this before.
Well, because it's one of those things that I've read the rules, but without playing something or playing against it regularly, you're just like, what does that do? And I think that's probably
now. People go, what's the rules for the ballista? And I'm just like, right, does this, and this, and they go, oh, okay.
And then but I think when you see it in practice, I think you can read the rules and like you can understand the rules, but actually until you see what it can physically do on the table,
definitely,
it's a bit of a game changer, really, isn't it?
And it's when exactly like you read what it does and go, okay, that's pretty cool. But then when you see how it changes the dynamics of the actual dwarf army, and you're like, I have to get there quick now. I was planning on just shooting back, but I can't do that.
Exactly,
or doing some kind of other tactic. And now it's been over a year since since the rules changed, so a lot of players know how to beat it now, and there is quite a simple counter to it.
So what you're saying is now we're going to see you kind of drop down the ranks, like you're going to be like
a spoon is my goal.
Mid-tier player from now on. Right, okay, fair enough. So I think we've kind of got a flavour of what your kind of go-to army is, which is Iron Hills. Definitely. And you said that's what you played. Have you played any other armies, or is that?
I think I played almost every army back in the old editions. I used to have every army, and I have no idea where they've gone. But I've had every model and I've played everything. But dwarfs have always been my go-to. Just ever since the original rulebook, the blue one where it's just got 2 pages of dwarfs. I always just went Dane and 12 Khazad. Just because back in those rules, Khazad were like one of the only few troops that had 2 combat weapons. How it is now, if you had a two-handed weapon, you had to go two-handed.
Yes.
But they had an axe
as well, so you could go either one-handed or two-handed with them, couldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had bodyguard, a defense 9 Dane. It was
It was tough. I remember,
tough little cookie.
Back then there wasn't an awful, because you didn't have a lot of things like you didn't have Anduril and things who could kind of wound on 4+s and things like that. So actually, when you got something that was defense 9, it's almost like I'll just ignore that for the entire game, and just hope that I can do enough damage to the rest of the army. And
Dane was the opposite of what he is now. Really, he was much. No, I know he is tanky now, but he didn't give out that much damage.
No,
he just sat him there. You could put him in front of a Mummock, and it would
bounce off. It would survive. Yeah, because
was
he defense 9? Was he 3 might, 3 will?
I think he had 2 fate.
2 fate.
I can't remember if he had 3 wounds.
But either way, he was tanky back then, wasn't he? He was really tanky back then. So that Iron Hills is now your kind of go-to army, isn't it? And that's the one that you've had your most success with, shall we say?
Yeah.
So what does your typical list look like then? So let's say most tournaments are kind of 600 to 800 points. What would be a go-to in your list?
So the go-to it would be more 700 to 800, because at 600 it does get a bit iffy.
Okay.
But really, I like my ballista, even though it's 125 points now, so it's a bit more risky. But it's more that mental thing. I don't care what it does on the field; it's what it does to my opponent's mental capacity. If they already think I've lost this game because of that, I'm already at a bonus. Dane is massive for me. I know a lot of players say, "Oh, you could take Thorin instead of Dane, etc." But Dane's got that 12-inch bubble of no courage.
Yes, and
he's also almost unstoppable. So you have to put a lot of effort into him.
Yes.
But then I also drop Thorin in there as well on Go with Orcrist.
Yeah.
Just solely the Orcrist is mainly for the Elven Blade.
Yeah.
Everything else is second.
So he's kind of even if he's coming up against big heroes, he's already fight 6.
Yeah.
He can strike.
He can.
He's got Orcrist, so actually he is kind of winning those roll-offs more often than not. Then
it's very surprising when people remember that a dwarf has got an Elven Blade, and you're like, yeah. 3+ to me.
So actually, it kind of puts that in your favour. Plus, he's got a few cool special rules, hasn't he?
So obviously his free heroic combat.
Yeah.
Normally I leave Dane to try and intimidate their leader. So if they've got LSR or anything big like that, try and have a battle off there, and just have Thorin mopping up the troops, going through 4 a turn. If Thorin needs to go two-handed with Orcrist, he can to get that extra. But his goat's 5+ knockdown is not to be underestimated either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Solely because if they have a big hero, you could just knock it down on the 5+, and then
you're doing some serious damage to them, because he's 3 attacks plus then
+1 for charging.
+1 for charging, so he's potentially doing 8 attacks. On the charge. If they're knocked down, it's pretty. And his strength 5.
No.
His strength 4, isn't it?
But he can go two-handed.
Two-handed, yeah.
Like when I played David Clubley at the final last year. 2018. He had Isengard Scout Horde with all the Isengard heroes, and he cut through my dwarves. I think he almost tabled me, but then in one turn with a Thorin heroic combat, I killed all 3 of his heroes by charging Dane and Thorin into Ugluk, bouncing off, putting Dane into Meher and then Thorin into Vrashku. And when actually he's got Orcrist on an Uruk, it's just he's out of might now, and then those 2 just went through his army, and I ended up actually tabling him. Because it was one of the game 1 and true, and this game went on, and these heroes aren't to be underestimated, and that's why the ballista works really well.
Well, I know I've played against you a few times. Dwalin's another one that you take on goat sometimes.
At 800 points, he was.
Yeah.
But now because the ballista's gone up a bit, I actually take him for Biffa. But
Dwalin
Dwalin is a mini Dane for a lot cheaper. He just has 1 less will and fate and wounds. But Dwalin's really good.
Yeah. So I played against those 3 heroes, because I think when we played, it's been at 1,000 points. So obviously you've got the room to be able to take them. And the combo of the 3, it's like, which one do I put resource into? Because there is just so many threats.
Exactly. And you can't ignore the other 2.
Exactly. And even if you've got just Thorin and Dane, it's like, again, they're big, massive threats. And even because you've got that free heroic combat, you're not using up might every turn from Thorin, so actually you can be using that might to do other things, just call moves and when you need to, and obviously you want to be getting that charge as well, don't you? So
exactly.
That's...
Well, now I did discover something at 7 Stones. At 7 Stones with my friend Dale, we just took Champions of Erebor. And that's when I discovered Biffa. And after that I was like, he's going in every Iron Hills army I'm having.
Right, okay, why is that?
Because he gets that free heroic move.
Right.
So
Okay,
I use less might on Dane and Thorin.
Wow.
He's only 65 points. You drop him in. And
So he's from the Champions of Erebor list. Isn't he?
it has to be champions, not the other one, because he can lead Iron Hills Warriors.
Yes. Yeah.
But you just put him in. You put him into one guy. Your two-handed piercing strike. You only get one attack though.
Yeah.
Even if it says you get one strike, but you can go to two-handed. You can piercing strike. You've got 2 might there as well to make sure you get the wound, and you may as well use it.
Yeah.
Because after that, it's free hero move every turn. You just keep him at the back. You don't have to, or just have him charging one troop. He's not the big hitter. Your other 2 are, but he's getting them to charge.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So that's my go-to list now.
Quite horrible.
Yeah.
Really,
So
isn't it?
in 800 points, I've dropped Dwalin and taken him.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Good stuff.
Quite
So, what's your kind of what's your kind of play style then? Would you say, have you got a play style, or do you obviously the big hitters in this army are kind of, I guess, the play style of the army that you take?
Yeah, so I'm trying to spice it up now a bit and take different things and try different things with the Iron Hills. But back when, like I say, at the beginning of the year, or last year when I was doing really well, it really was, just kind of castle in a way, depending even on scenarios where I've got to get out there, castle in a way, let them come to me, ballista them until they get there, and then I let them take on the heroes, but the troops are still really good as well. And if there's an objective I need to hold, if I put 6 guys or 8 guys on there and shield wall, you're not moving them off unless you put quite a lot of resources in.
Yeah, absolutely. I've again, going back to when I played you with Minas Tirith, or with Rohan and things, most of the time, because I'm going to be strength 3, I'm needing 6s by 4s. And I'm just bouncing off you, and even if you're losing combats, I'm still bouncing off because you're in shield wall and your guys are dead tough. Exactly. There's not
when I win the fight, they're strength 4 as well.
Exactly. So against me, you're only needing 6s. So I have to put a huge amount of resource into going after you. And as you say, if you can just kind of keep 6 guys on an objective, that's that objective pretty much held for you, isn't it?
Exactly. While Dane and Thorin can go off and tag 2 more
and do what they need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've obviously got the extra mobility of goats as well, which is something that I guess Iron Hills struggle with a little bit. Mobility.
So mobility could be a big problem, but Dane and all the captains have march, and that's quite crucial that Dane has march. Cause when Thorin and Biffa are so cheap, you don't really take a captain. Unless you're going for obviously the Green Alliance. But regarding the actual mobility with goats, I very much still rely on your shield wall. I think for any Iron Hills player who wants to play Iron Hills, your shield wall is your backbone. Without that, your Iron Hill army isn't going to work. So I leave like every dwarf player knows, you're going to get flanked. So I use my goats for when I get flanked. I never put my goats in front of the shield wall. I just leave them behind and just hit what needs to be hit, because if they're only defense 6, so if they are left out there, they die. And they're normally the first to go. So you have to be quite reserved with your goats, but in scenarios where you need to get them off quicker, they're only 8 inches, but they can. They can go if they need to.
It's just that little bit more mobility for you, isn't it? But I guess it's the mobility from your Dane and Thorin and things as well. That's a huge advantage for you, because obviously you can get them where you need them that little bit quicker.
Yeah, definitely. And if there's something quite scary over there, for example, like Frodo with a ring or something, that's going to really slow them down. Just send them the other way. And let your Iron Hill troops deal with Frodo, because it's still Frodo at the end of the day, and they're still Iron Hill troops.
Yes, exactly.
Don't ever underestimate them.
No, indeed. So you go to tournaments and you sit on the table, and somebody puts their army down. What do you like to see? What do you like coming up against with that army? What is there anything that you're particularly good against?
I don't know. Anything strength 3. Just because it means I'm probably still going to chomp through them. Anything strength 3 and defense 6. So elves can be good, because if they do lose the fight, they die on 1 in 3. Where if I lose the fight, which is obviously more chance at fight 5, but it means I should survive, more chance of surviving. I don't really have a go-to army of what I'd love, just an easy stomping army. Isengard at the moment, I haven't played any of the new rules, to be honest, with the Dun Landings or the Heroic Legions, but Isengard were usually quite easy to beat with an Iron Hills list, even though they are strength 4. They just don't have any big heroes. There's no, in a normal Isengard list, there is no way really for them to deal with my heroes.
No.
Saruman is alright, but you can only deal with one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm going to say, because you've got those multiple threats.
Yeah.
It's you might shut down one, but the other one's still doing damage that turn as well, and you can only. And again, I guess it's putting a lot of resource into that one hero to stop them for that turn, isn't it? So, yeah, excellent. Okay. Is there anything that you don't like coming up? Is there anything that you think is a real challenge for you?
Anything that puts me on the back foot with my heroes. So, Bol, Gazog, Elisar. Anything where if I can throw Dane into them, I can be confident that Dane can either smash them or at least hold his own. Yeah. Against the likes of those three. Yeah. I have to be really reserved with Dane.
So anything that's got a bonus modifier for wounding. So Elisar's obviously
and stuff.
Yeah. So they're all fights.
Elisar's 6, but the other two are 7.
Yeah. So they're kind of either matching or above you on fight.
Yeah.
Elisar's wounding on 4+. Azog is wounding you on 3s, which is horrible.
The problem with Azog is as well, most of the time he has Master of Battle for free. So I have to strike against him, he strikes for free, and he has 6 might on his warg, so if I lose the fight, he could just kill me outright.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. Really is.
He's nasty.
Very scary to take on.
And Bolgo, he's burly as well, so actually he's wounding you on...
He's normally wounded on...
5s?
5s. 5s. But then, again, he's got Master of Battle with the fight 7. Yeah. So they're really kind of tough matchups then. But I guess it's hard to get through.
I guess it's the rest of the army that you've got to then sort of take on and things.
Yeah.
But I know you mentioned Hunter Orcs to me earlier.
Yeah.
Hunter Orcs can not necessarily dismantle the Iron Hills, but because they've got the 2 strength 4 attacks, if you can get 2 Hunter Orcs on each each Iron Hills warrior, all of a sudden the although you've got the fight value advantage,
I have to shield.
Yes, yeah.
To just try and even the odds, which means I'm not killing them.
Yeah.
And there's I played World Champion at Epping, and he just cut through me at Maelstrom. He came on and trapped me against the board edge, and then he's getting 8 attacks.
Yeah.
When I'm trapped, and even though Dane by himself, he dismounted Dane, but then every turn I was rolling, winning the fight and then killing 3, winning the fight, killing 3.
Yeah.
And I almost broke him by Dane alone, and I didn't kill none of my army killed anything else because the Hunter Orcs just smashed through, and Will's obviously a very good player.
Yes, yeah,
he just used his heroes as well to just charge and heroic combat, just to get rid of all my troops as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And because they're strength 4, shield walls are relevant.
Yeah.
And Hunter Orcs are an issue.
The shield walls are relevant because they're only needing 6s to.
Yes.
To
they don't get that extra 6x4.
Yes. Yeah.
The only other thing that I think if I do look at something is worrying is an Angmar list with Gulvar.
All right, okay.
Harry Moore has tabled me several times
with
Gulvar because, there's no hero really that can. He's always going to have the drop because he's 12-inch, and if you try and run at him, there's a Barrowite there backing him up. You can't get risk paralysed, and then Gulvar comes in.
No, Gulvar's horrible.
He's
nasty. He can't strike though.
He can't, but he can defend.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so obviously they're needing then natural 6s to wound him.
And that's if he loses at fight 8, and if he wins, he's got 10 attacks.
Yeah,
with monstrous charge.
He's
I've never seen him not just kill a hero in one turn outright.
Yeah,
because he can.
Yeah, absolutely. So those are the sorts of things that you don't like coming up against then. And obviously
changes the playstyle.
The couple of people that you mentioned there, Harry Moore and World Champion, they're both very good players anyway, aren't they? So there's nothing that automatically think, I've lost this.
No. And that's, I used to think that, and it was Jay himself really who sat me down. It was just literally, as soon as you think in that mindset, any army, this current rule set, really to pat himself on the back, there is nothing that is better than anything else. Yeah. A lot of people do go to me, Iron Hills are overpowered, and it's but they're not. They're really not. They do have some hard counters, but they are there is maybe a bit more better than the average.
Yeah, there is, and I think every army has a I wouldn't say an optimal build, but if you include certain things, it's not going to be as good as as it could be, if that makes sense. If
everything can beat everything.
Yes.
In the right scenario, stuff like that, they really can't. So it's
absolutely.
There's nothing that's I'm terrified of, and nothing that's really good because there is a chance it could just destroy you. Yeah.
Makes sense. And then kind of last question that I've got on my list for you: have you got a favourite scenario?
Fog of War.
Why do you like Fog of War?
Just the kind of espionage behind it.
Okay.
You really don't know what your opponent's playing, and when you play an opponent who's good at Fog of War, like I remember I can't remember his name, but he really committed to the bluff to the point where it lost in the game because he was just hiding this one hero that wasn't the hero to keep alive, and the hero could have really done
some damage.
Yeah, but he full on committed to the bluff to deny me VPs, which was actually it's hilarious. I really like that.
Yeah, it's a scenario that I don't tend to play that often. Maybe I should play it a bit more often, maybe. But yeah, the couple of times that I've played it, there was once where my opponent completely forgot to put anything down on their piece of paper, and so we had to roll for it at the end. I was like, but that's the whole point of this scenario. But never mind.
Okay.
There's
also a dirty little trick you can do with the siege ballista.
Go on then. Are you going to share?
I'll share. I think everyone knows it now.
I don't.
Obviously, Fog of War, you keep a hero to keep alive, hero to kill, terrain piece. The terrain piece can be in the middle as well, so you don't have to go that far for dwarves. So you just sit on this middle piece of terrain with your entire Iron Hills block, which they're not moving off it.
Yeah.
But the actual trick with the ballista is if you keep your siege veteran alive, opt to keep him alive, and you put the actual siege engine in the corner of the table sideways, and then it leaves a little tiny gap just big enough for one model, and you put your siege veteran there. Even if they dismantle or destroy the siege engine, it always still remains on the board, so they physically cannot ever get to him. They can shoot him with magic and stuff like that, but they've got to get through an Iron Hills army.
That's just dirty, that is.
I know.
That's horrible.
But you can lie him down and just use his might point, lie him down. They can't shoot him because they can't see him. But they can never actually charge him in combat because there is no physical way to actually get him around. But you can shoot him and stuff like that.
Makes sense. So I'll know not to waste any resource. Just leave him to it, and just try and get the rest of the VPs in that one. Then.
Yeah, at least it always gives you a few VPs.
Cool.
From keeping him alive.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. So we're going to be playing a battle report shortly, which you'll see on the channel fairly soon. So we've got a few lists that you brought along that we're going to have a little look through. I'm going to be using the Return of the King, so I'm going to have Aragorn, King of the Dead, and a load of Ghost Boys. So we'll get down and we'll get that on the table. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure that you check out all the links in the description below. We've got links to all our social media accounts, we've got links to our Patreon, and we've got links to our Element Games affiliate links. So if you want to support the channel in any way, go and make sure that you check out those links below. I've been Top Table Ben, and you've been
Cal.
But as I say, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video.